exactly 8:41 a.m. and I'm going to now be talking with Deputy Minister of Social Development and leader of Jama-ah, and that, of course, is you, Brother Ganief Hendricks. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome to the program. Okay, unfortunately, we've lost that connection. He is trying to reconnect, so let's do some ad breaks in the meanwhile, so that we don't waste too much time. We do have a jam-packed program, and we'd like to get talking to all of the people that I had mentioned earlier on in the show. For example, Fatima Talia, a transformational life coach, Sheikh Dinala Chabulika. He is with the Muslim Association of Malawi to talk to us about Aqsa Week. We're also going to talk with Dr. Dale McKinley. He is a political analyst, and we want to talk to him about the GNU parties gearing up for crucial cabinet Lahotla with land reform and economic revival on top of the agenda. And we'll talk with Abdul Rahman Shat. He's the Durban-based Palestinian. He is a PhD student, and he's going to talk to us about not giving up and not stop talking about the Palestinian plight. Let's see if we've got Brother Ganief Hendricks back online. Okay. Right, I've been given the thumbs up. Honorable Ganief Hendricks, Deputy Minister of Social Development and Al-Jama leader. Assalamu alaikum to you. Can you hear me? Welcome to the show.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much.
All right, Jazakallah. So, Ganief, why does Al-Jama see the signing of the Expropriation Bill as a landmark moment for South Africa?
Look, the disposition of indigenous people to get their customary legal rights to their ancestral land in South Africa is a serious thing. Many of them are today farm dwellers. So in the same area, for example, 20,000 of them are in danger of being evicted.
Ganief, sorry, can I ask you to move around? The line is very, very bad.
How's the line?
Can you just... No, you're breaking up all the time.
Okay, let me move a bit.
Okay, you sound fine now. Continue, please.
Okay, good. Yeah. So Al-Jama's strategy to assist farm workers is that the portion of the farm that they are living on should be expropriated with no compensation, and instead of being evicted. So at the moment in the Paul Magistrate Court, there are 600 cases of 300 illegal evictions and the others legal evictions in terms of the Land Tenure Act. So unfortunately, South Africa has enabling legislation to evict farm dwellers. So now we have Section 25 of the Constitution. We have the Land Appropriation Act, and that is sufficient for us to proceed with expropriating the portion of land that farm dwellers live on at the moment, and with no compensation, so they stay on the farm and they are not evicted. And we're talking about 1 million farm dwellers throughout the country, although our test case is in Paul in Drakenstein. So the farmer, Mr. Spies, is already amenable to the idea that he gives off the portion of land that that farm dwellers live on, and in return, the municipality will then provide them with the services that they need because they are all indigent. So there is already provision to assist indigent people. In the case of farm workers, they just have to get a bit more extra services because they have been suffering so long. So Al-Jama welcomes the signing into law of the Expropriation Land Act because it's going to assist uh, hundreds and thousands of farm dwellers not to be forcibly evicted like they did in the days of the Group Areas Act. Much more can be done because there's still provision in the Land Act for paying market prices, which obviously farm dwellers cannot afford and government cannot afford to pay. Because when the farmers stole the land, took the land, it wasn't at market-related rates. It
Mm.
was free of charge and sometimes just a nominal amount. So they can't expect today to get market rates, but the law unfortunately provides for that. Al-Jama-ah is busy amending the Land Tenure Act through a private member's bill, and the Minister of Land Affairs and Rural Development is coming up with a new bill to redistribute land. In December, I received a letter from the President to assist him to prevent eviction of farm dwellers, and he's offered me the assistance of the Minister of Kohta, who looks after services, and then also the Minister of Land and Rural Development. Both ministers are very cooperative and have offered the Deputy Minister legal services and to pay the legal cost to find legal prescripts in order to prevent farm evictions. So this is one of the areas that we are focusing on. I know the Khoi and the San, they have, they may not be farm dwellers at the moment. They are also fighting to get their land back. And the only way is for expropriation.
So, Deputy Minister, let's obviously these farm dwellers that you're talking about, they are there for a couple of generations. Their fathers and grandfathers and great grandfathers were on the land servicing these farmers, the boere back in the day. That being said, how does this law align with the amendment of the Land Reform Labour Tenants Act of 1996, and what further changes are needed?
Yeah, look, at those two particular acts in 1996, the idea was to assist farm dwellers, but it's giving a legal route for farmers to go to court. And like I told you, there are 500 cases just in the Paul Magistrates Court. It gives them a legal route to evict farmers. So farm dwellers, they don't have legal assistance. Some of them are assisted by NGOs, legal resources centers, and so on. But the majority of them don't have that access. So if you look at it nationally or provincially, it's quite a serious problem. And the Human Rights Commission are very passionate about preventing the eviction of farm dwellers led by Reverend Chris Nissen. They are also battling because they don't have a lot of funds. But at the moment, they are in the courts fighting the Drakenstein municipality, which is a DA municipality, and they help in on assisting farmers with alternative accommodation for the farm dwellers, and they're putting them in tin sacks, which is not the idea. Many of these farm dwellers, they are living in better dwellings than tin sacks. And the inconvenience of them having to relocate, like many of us had to relocate during the Group Areas Act, there needs to be reparations and compensation for that. So the amendments that we are making to the Land Tenants Act or the Land Reform Act are extensive, and it doesn't allow the legal procedure which creates an enabling environment farmers, especially lifestyle farmers who are now buying farms on auctions, and don't want anyone living on their farms except their family and friends and so on. It provides an enabling environment. So we've identified a dozen clauses that needs to be amended, and Al Jama-ah will be submitting a private members bill to change it. So that means we will have Section 25 of the Constitution. We'll have the Land Appropriation Act. We will have Al Jamaah's amendments to the Land Tenure Act. And we'll have the Minister of Land Development's new act called the Redistribution of Land. So today we've written to the Minister of Public Works asking him to expropriate portions of the land where farm workers used to stay, like you say, for over 120 years. Their grandfathers, their families used to live there. And to get the farmers to start the process of negotiation. Like this one farmer has now agreed that he doesn't have a quarrel in excising a portion of his land, give it to the municipality. He benefits because he no longer has to remove the rubbish. He doesn't have to provide water or electricity. And so this is the way we are going, negotiating with farmers, for mutual benefit on both sides.
So obviously, I think the DA would be heavily involved here. But how is Al Jama-ah going to respond to concerns from landowners and investors regarding this new expropriation policy? They would also argue that we're going to be frightening off investors, etc. How do you respond to that?
No, I don't think so, because remember, at the moment we are focusing on a portion of the land. So they have like 1,000 hectares, and here we're talking about 1,000 square meters that they have to give off. So they still have massive sizes of land that they can utilize, and to give off 1,000 or 2,000 square meters, and they have hundreds of hectares of land, shouldn't be cause them any hardship. So it's an issue that one has to be very pragmatic about. So at this stage, Al Jama-ah is only interested in expropriating with no compensation that portion of the land that farm dwellers have been living on, and many times that land was grabbed by the farmer. The farmer had a farm, and next to the farm there was some municipal land. They've then, built houses for the farm workers on that land. And over the years, the quality of the houses did improve. So we do have some good farmers. And now the situation is that they may have bought that municipal land at very low cost from the municipality, or got it free of charge. So that is the kind of land that we are targeting at the moment. With regard to the bigger picture, that is the demands of the Khoi and the San for their portions of land. That they are well organized to take that forward. They belong to the traditional council of traditional leaders. They can pursue that. They can suggest legislation. But at the moment, Al Jama-ah is just focusing on 1 million farm dwellers that are in danger of being forcibly removed from land that their families have occupied for generations.
Finally, then, there are critics who argue that expropriation without compensation could harm economic growth.
I don't think it will harm even economic growth. I just told you that a farmer has, hectares and hectares of land. People 500 square meters, will not harm economic growth. In fact, it will show that there is cooperation, that there is agreement, and investors like that. They like to see reduction of conflict. So there is no issue of harming economic growth.
That's where we leave it. Deputy Minister of Social Development and Al Jama-ah leader Ganief Hendricks talking to us about Al Jama-ah supporting and signing of the expropriation bill as a landmark moment for South Africa. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your time. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Alaikum salam.
It is exactly 8:56 a.m. This is News and Views on Salam Media. A reminder that the second hour of News and Views is sponsored by Africa Muslims Agency. But let's get on to that second part of the show, and also that Africa Muslims Agency is a beacon of hope to communities over 35 years in Africa and beyond.